there who perhaps are stuck somewhere in a room and can't get out because of physical disability, or they may be in prison and they say, what can I do? What can we do? We can't get out into nature. Well, you need to remember that your body also is nature, so you can start there. Every time you take a breath, that's nature. Nature is breathing. The air that you're breathing is nature. The very fact of breathing is a natural process. It's not choice. It's done for you. It's not so much that you breathe, although we say, I breathe, but you're not the body breathes. So it's a natural thing that happens. You wouldn't say, I'm beating my heart. You don't do that, but that's the same thing. The body does it. It's a natural process. For some reason we say, I'm breathing, because breathing is semi-voluntary. You can stop it for a while, but not for that long, because if you stop it for too long, nature takes over. And you go, so nature takes, as nature, you live with nature, with your body. So even if you can't get out, you can start by being aware of that level of yourself, the physical level, the natural part of who you are, the body, and not just by saying, okay, I'm looking at my hands or my feet, not just the not the external image of the body, but you can go into the body with your attention, and that's you're in nature. Even if you're in a prison cell, you can do that. And even if there's no opportunity, you might be in an office block in Manhattan, and you look out of the window and all you have is maybe a little bit of sky. Okay, there's a little bit of nature there, you can look at that. But you have more nature than that in yourself. So as you sat in your office, wherever it is, go within first, be conscious that breathing is happening. The body is breathing. Be conscious also of the preciousness of the air. It's such a precious substance. So to acknowledge that is actually part of what sometimes is called to live in a state of gratitude. Now, some people say, what can I be grateful for? There's nothing in my life that I can be grateful for. Well, are you breathing? Yes. Well, you start there. If you start being grateful for the tiniest things, then gradually that expands, and that shift in consciousness of honoring life, no matter how small it is, the manifestation of life as yourself, by honoring that, gratitude arises, and a totally different state of consciousness then brings about good things. But you have to start with the good that is already there. If you want, there's not enough good in my life, people say, I need more good. Life hasn't given me what I needed. Start with what you have. And the most obvious thing to start with is, I'm breathing. And that's something, it's something very beautiful to feel that you are absorbing this energy that is air, that then merges with your being. It's an amazing thing to honor the process of breath, to honor the fact that you are breathing. And that is, that you can start with that is becoming, honoring the present moment. If you're looking for the present moment, which is of course all there ever is, some people read it in The Power of Now and were surprised. And they're still surprised when I say the present moment is all there ever is in your life. There is no past and future in your experience except when you think about it, but not in your actual experience. Yes, it's actually true. the greatest philosopher could come and he could not argue with the fact that you only ever experience the present moment, there is nothing else. The mind asks, well, where is the present moment? Well, start with your breath. That will always take you into the present moment because you're breathing now. And you're only ever taking one breath, this one. All other breaths you either remember or anticipate mentally. And it's actually said that the Buddha recommended this as a meditation, maybe even before the Buddha, but the Buddha certainly recommended that people should be aware of their breath as a meditation. He didn't say, as far as I know, that will take you into the present moment, and he didn't say that will actually stop your mind too. He just said, be aware of your breath. So breath awareness meditation has become a Buddhist meditation that's practiced, but the dangerous thing is with practitioners of meditation is they make it into something to be achieved through it. They want to become good at it. You can't become good at one breath. This is just one breath. So there's nature and there's the present moment. Here, now, here. Oh, and I thought there was nothing to be grateful for. I'm breathing, or breathing is happening. And then as you become aware of that, you're beginning to feel that your body is also alive on the inside. To feel that there's an energy that is pervading the entire body. That's nature, and it's very close. That's the closest, and you can't get to a tree that close as you can to your body or anything else. So that's really the closest you can ever get to nature is there in yourself as the physical body. But when you become aware, now this is something for us, for each one of us to do right now, not to do, but to notice. There's no doing as such because we don't have to do anything. You can do, sometimes it helps to move about, to get a little bit of sense that your body is alive. That can help. But you can see the body is alive. Can I feel that? Yes, the breath is happening, and there's aliveness in my feet, my hands, my legs. Very subtle at first, but it's there. And there's nature, and that's already a deeper level than what you see. Out in nature, when you look at a tree, you can't, to get deeper than the image of the tree, you have to have gone deeper within yourself so that you can sense the aliveness of the tree. You cannot sense the aliveness of the tree unless you can sense the aliveness in yourself. If you don't sense the aliveness in yourself, you're only approaching the tree with your mind, and your mind might say, oh, that's a nice tree, but you're missing the depth of it. You're missing the fact that there's more here than what the mind tells you there's here. When the mind says there's a tree or a flower or whatever it is, what you're looking at and call a tree and then believe that the word that you have attached to it is actually describes its reality. No, it's a label, it's an abstraction that you put onto this thing that you cannot really understand. It's a vitally alive, mysterious being with great depths. It's as much depth as you, because all life forms are connected and come out of the one source of life. So you're beginning to go to feel that when you feel the aliveness of the inner body. It's not quite the deepest source yet, but you're going towards the non-physical, the life energy that comes from the source. So connecting with yourself through breath and feeling the inner body is part of connecting with nature. Often people only notice nature when there's something unusual happening. For example, a thunderstorm. You cannot help notice that. Suddenly there's a flash of lightning, or you go to a place where there's a tornado happening. Of course, then you notice nature. Or you go out into alpine regions, high mountains, overpowering. You're climbing up mountains, and suddenly you hear, as I remember a few years ago in Switzerland, I was walking and suddenly you hear a huge, like a cannon being fired. And there were chunks breaking off the glacier. And of course, that is such an overpowering thing. It stops you and you go, wow, is it coming this way? But most of the time, nature is more subtle than that. And so to notice the nature in its subtle aspect, which is always there, now that requires you to have a certain degree of alertness, attention, alertness is required. You have to, in other words, if you are totally immersed in the thinking mind, you miss the whole thing. And even sometimes I walk in the forest quite often, I see people walking, some are wearing noise machines. It's as if the noise machine that they have in their head anyway were not enough. They put speakers onto their ears so that they don't hear nature, don't hear anything natural, just hear. And even those who don't have these things on their ears, whatever they are these days, technology changes so quickly I no longer know what they're called. I can't catch up. It's no longer CDs, or at least this is old-fashioned. It's other things now, digital. Even if they don't have that, often I can see two friends walking in the forest and they're talking to each other, very animated. There's nothing wrong with talking to each other, but they don't, 98% of what's around them they don't notice. Occasionally they say, oh, look at that, yeah, and then, okay, and let's talk about something more important. Then, yeah. And even people walking alone, often they're not really there, they are partly there, but a lot of their attention is still in their thoughts. And even if they are looking and saying, oh, this is, they're exclusively there as the judgmental mind, the interpreting mind, not yet as presence. But nature offers such a wonderful opportunity to enter the state of presence, which is the state of spacious awareness, of just that. There's no conceptualizing thought happening, just spacious, aware presence, the most miraculous state for human beings to be in, the next stage in human evolution. That's nature offers you that opportunity more than anything that is man-made, because everything that is man-made has been made with, to a greater or lesser extent, the mind has come in and transformed nature into something that still is, if you trace it back, everything goes back to nature, even a piece of plastic cannot be made without something natural to start with, which then the mind transforms. And even a car, everything in the car, if you trace it back where it comes from, of course it comes from nature originally. But in the intervening time period, the human mind has transformed it into something else. And